What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to A Certain Point of View here on a Sunday evening as we get back to our normal time, normal shows here on the channel. And it is the whole crew. We are back. We are here. And we're going to be hanging out for the next hour or so, talking a whole bunch of a lot of cool Schmodown stuff. And, of course, you already know we are joined by we're going to be joined by Lightning Liz Shannon Miller, which is going to be very, very fun. After our reaction this past week, you guys probably know that we are very excited to talk to her. And as you can tell, we got the hat gang going on. Molly couldn't find her, so it's okay.
Yeah, I could have sworn I had a hat somewhere.
Jill's going full on witch on us.
It's October. Let me live my life.
Spooky season.
That's fair.
Season. It's the time where I come alive and the real me is blossoms, and so where it is socially acceptable to wear black lipstick, and so I take full advantage.
It's probably a good time to say that we might have a fun little show coming up sometime this month with outfits and stuff like that. So look out for that. Won't give a date or anything. It'll kind of just drop on you guys, but that'll be a lot of fun. Mr. Brian Avellino, it's Sunday. How's your weekend, man? Full of squadrons, I imagine.
Absolutely right. That's literally all I've been doing yesterday and all I did last night with one Sean Sullivan. So
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I kept texting him. I was like, "It's like you have work tomorrow. You have work tomorrow." And
we can plug it. It's happening again tonight too.
It is happening again tonight. He better not be up until 1 a.m. again.
I won't be up until 1 a.m. So I don't know how long he's gonna go. But yeah, Molly, what about you? How's your weekend going?
It's good. It's funny when I say you have work tomorrow to Alex, that just means he has to play more Squadrons.
Oh, the life.
It's a tough life over there.
That work grind over at the Damon house.
But yeah, I had a really nice day today. I got to go to a baby shower. It was socially distanced and got to see some friends that I haven't seen in a very long time. So very nice.
Nice. Well, yeah. So, like I mentioned, guys, we're going to be joined by Liz Shannon Miller. We're going to talk about her, her matches recently, Bibiani and Rachel Silvestrini to start the tournament, and Chance Ellison, and so we're going to have fun with those conversations. We're obviously going to preview what's upcoming for her as far as which competitors she will be facing up against. And if you guys have any questions. The link is in the chat. It's also in the description. Hit that Streamlabs link, guys. If you want to ask any questions for us, if you want to ask anything for Liz, we got Streamlabs open. We are ready to fire off questions for her. I know a couple people did it on Twitter as well, and so we'll make sure we ask those throughout the time that we have her. And so with that said, we can go ahead and bring in our guest, and that is Miss Liz Shannon Miller. How you doing?
Oh, there's a cat.
Yes, I really want to get Tank Girl is okay. She's fleeing now, but she
Tank Girl.
She agreed to hang. Okay, she wants out. She loves getting a cuddle or two if she can control the terms. So she's. But yes. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
We love pets in this podcast, so pets are always welcome.
I mean, one of the best things about this whole situation that we're all living it, we've all been living it for the last several months, is the fact that we all get to meet each other's pets.
Yes. And they are all adorable. We love all kinds of pets here. Yes. Listen, Tank Girl.
I'll be going through a bunch of questions or comments, so don't give me a lot of it. So.
Yes. She's still here. We'll see how. Now that she doesn't have to be on camera, she can just get cuddles. So this is her ideal situation.
Yes.
But hello, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, thank you for joining us and agreeing to a somewhat of a late notice, being on Thursday. It worked out well.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, what am I doing? I didn't bring this out actually. I wanted to because I saw Molly had some baby Yodas, and I wanted to share my baby Yoda. My mother crocheted this actually.
Oh my god!
So it's apparently the patterns are out there. I highly recommend it.
That's so
custom baby Yoda. Yeah,
I know.
Well, actually, I got him for Christmas, and he came with a little Santa hat. So.
Instantly made it so much better.
Oh my
Just
God.
these two faces alone, right here. These two. Yeah, there we go.
My
Love a good
collection
baby
back
Yoda.
here is growing.
Mine-
No, I saw. That's why I brought him out. I was like, those are epic.
We love a good pet, and we love a good baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm coming on like a storm.
So we always start off with our guests for the same question, and it's very simple. It has to do with the Schmodown. It's what is it about the Schmodown that keeps bringing you back as a competitor, time and time again, match after match, especially now with quarantine and everything? What it is about this movie trivia league that is so special?
That's a really interesting question. That's really because it's like, I think what it really comes down to is, I think I kind of stumbled into it, frankly. Like I, got told, hey, you should try to do this thing. And I started doing this thing and it was a lot of fun, but I didn't really understand, like, I didn't come into it from like the perspective of a hardcore fan. I just kind of learned about it as I went. And as someone who's generally a hardcore fan of all the things, like that's a little weird for me, frankly. But I mean, now that I've gotten to really understand the community around it, now that I've gotten to understand the people who play it, now that I understand it a lot better, I think what it really just comes down to is embracing your love of film on this level where you want to put your knowledge of it up against other people. Like it's fascinating. It's a fun challenge. Like you don't know who's going to be better than you. You don't know if that even matters. Like and so much of it also just comes down to luck as well. Like luck or the right moment or you're in the right space. And I think that is a very sports-ish thing. I've never been a big sports player, but from what I understand, like, it's a matter of, you show up to the game with as much preparation and skill as you can possibly muster. And then you see what the game brings you. And sometimes the game brings you a perfect collection of opportunities. And sometimes you get screwed over. And, I feel like I've been luckier than most, but also I feel like I've worked as hard as anyone to train and be ready for it.
It shows.
Your
Definitely
record
shows.
is freaking amazing. I think we were talking about it after your last match with Bibiani. You've only lost to champions.
Yeah, and I mean they weren't champions at the time, which
Well, give yourself some credit though.
Yeah.
People who went on to get the belt. Like
yes, but no, that I definitely like having that perspective on my losses. Like definitely helps a lot. Like everyone I've ever played, I feel like has been an incredible competitor. I feel like I've never played anyone I was like, really? They're in this? And so yeah, it's just been a really fun experience. Like I started off like I would honestly put the beginning of my training at over 20 years ago when I started working at a video store, and having to play the do you know what that movie was with that guy who was in that thing, and like playing that game for $8 an hour at a video store, like that is really good training for the Schmodown.
I never thought about that, but oh my god, that is perfect. That's literally, you're getting Schmodown questions for your job. Like, can you help me find this movie? I don't remember the title, but it has this person in it, and it's about this. Like, I've never thought of that before, and that's so amazing. And
we were doing that when Google was a thing that maybe existed barely, but was still very nascent. So a lot of times it was just literally, we had like a Leonard Maltin book behind the counter, I think. Like, so yeah, it's I mean that's the thing. It's just like it's all about the love of movies, and that's what I really enjoy about this whole experience.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much why we're all here. That's kind of, we found it because of our love for movies. So that's good to hear from you too. And I think honestly that might be the first time we've ever actually heard that kind of description of why. Yeah. Most of the time it's a different kind of breakdown of the Schmodown, which is nice. I do want to ask before I hand it off to my co-host, is it what you expected or is it crazier than you expected?
Yeah, I didn't really have necessarily any expectations. I thought I was just based. I think beyond. I think my expectations were kind of actually. I think I will say it's beyond my expectations because my expectations were going in like it was basically kind of a Jeopardy-ish sort of like game show. Like I had no idea that there was Jeopardy does not have factions. Jeopardy does not have you don't get to
or characters.
You don't get to choose your entrance music when you go when you enter the field in Jeopardy. It's like it's a very different thing, and I really enjoy that. I mean, I wasn't unfamiliar with like the culture of professional wrestling and the WWE and so forth before going into it, but it wasn't something I'd done a lot of exploration of before. So yeah, it's definitely more than I considered, or definitely more than I expected. But it's been really lovely, and I'm all of the things that go beyond my expectations have been all gravy.
Nice. Brian, I'll start with you tonight. Do you have you got a question for Liz you want to ask?
Sure. How is it going from just basically competing by yourself to now having a team around you and a manager? Basically what Brian is asking you right now.
This is a question that comes up a lot. That has come up a lot since I did actually join a faction, because I like my first 5 matches I played completely on my own, and was honestly a little set back on my heels by the fact that I forget who it was, but it was only after a JTE, so it was either Ben Bateman or Paul Yama. But I remember, I think maybe Paul Yama, I don't know. But they, he came in with my opponent came in with like a whole like entourage, and I'm just
probably Oyama
wearing my hat and like, my hat, as good as this hat is, it's not like a squadron of other dudes like hanging out and having my back, and like, I mean, it I lost the match for the reasons I lost the match. I can't even remember what the reasons were, but I definitely remember feeling like that's different. That it's different to walk in with an entourage. It's different to walk in with people, and even in a virtual space, like it's different to have a manager. It's different to have Winston, who is, by the way, an amazing manager, who's been so wonderful this whole entire time, and it's different to go in and know that you have a bunch of people rooting for you. You have, if you win, you're not just winning for yourself, you're winning for your team. And to know that when you take your phone off airplane mode, you get a bunch of text messages like blowing up your phone saying, congrats, or, you did it, you did the best you could. It makes all the difference in the world. It's completely different. Like it is beyond. Like I could go back to playing alone, but I wouldn't want to.
That's great.
I love hearing that. I love hearing all the different stories of all these like faction group texts and just how supportive all of these factions are together. And I'm hearing it majority so from Swag, and how everyone from Swag is like, we have this group text. We're all very much like on board with everything that's going on with everyone's stuff. And I just love hearing that. I love the camaraderie and with these factions. I'm like literally obsessed with it. And you and Winston are so great. Winston's great, and you're great, and you two together are just like something magical that happened. And I am literally obsessed.
Thank you. Like, I mean, it's literally, it's just. I think I've said this before. The thing with Winston is he's really good at reading people and really good at understanding what they need from him as a manager, and so he knows how to help Chandru through with the things that Chandru wants with a manager in a match. He knows to.
Billy is our resident pun maker, and so you'll probably see a lot of these throughout the night.
That was a good one.
Okay, I got it now. It took me a moment to process that. That's one. I think the skill, the quality of a great manager like Winston is he's able to take a lot of different people and a lot of different personalities and bring them together and make them work together, and also bring out the best in them. And so, yeah, I'm not going to put. I know he's got a, the decision about what happens in 2021 is a big thing. I'm not putting any pressure on him. Like, he's going to do what he's going to do. But I've loved this experience.
Oh, I love that. Now, go ahead, Jake.
Oh no, go Jill. Go ahead.
I do have a question because there are a lot of competitors who this is their first season and they have not experienced the in-studio matches. You have experienced both. So I want to know what your thoughts, or do you like the in-studio matches? How are you feeling about everything going virtual? Pros and cons? Where's your headspace when it comes to studio matches versus doing everything virtually?
Well, I know that because a lot of people, I should probably stop reading as much as I have, but I know I've read comments that people have attributed like the fact that I've gone as far as I have in this tournament to the fact that it's at home, it's more relaxed. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is a pretty comfortable couch. It's not bad. I actually prefer writing my answers on paper for the first round as opposed to writing on a whiteboard, just because wiping the answer off the whiteboard is like another thing to think about in round one, and already round one.
I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that either, but
that's actually really that's like a deep, like, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah,
that's really smart.
I actually, like, somebody offered to lend me their whiteboard and for like a future matches like a month or two ago, and I was like, no, I'm actually pretty good with my reporter's notebook. I'm like, I enjoy it. But anyway, I think the thing is, when you're in the studio under the lights, it is very different from doing it on your couch. There's a different kind of focus you bring to it. Like, you have to, you're personally turning off all your things. You're not, it's not like, I could have my phone like sitting right here beside me. There's all that aspect to it. It is a different kind of intensity, but at the same time, like, I think honestly, the truth of the matter is, I feel it when it go. I think what it ultimately comes down to is, the thing I really enjoyed about in-studio matches was having the opportunity to talk to everyone involved, before and after, and including like usually like even if my opponent was like going to go hard heel for the match, like they were usually pretty decent, reasonable people beforehand, and like that added to like the whole civility of it. Like, it's, this is not a, I hate to ruin the illusion that there are real hardcore villains in this league, but, there are people who are definitely playing their roles, but, in general, it's just like it's a nice group of people, and I've enjoyed getting to know. I enjoyed getting to know them in that informal setting, just like, we're all just standing around this conference table, noshing at whatever random food has been put out. So that's kind of where I land. Like, I mean, they're both different. They're both different. They're both very different experiences. I don't know which I prefer. Like, frankly, like I've done well. I've arguably done better in the virtual environment, but I won't be sad if we go back to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I miss
Molly,
studio days so much.
Molly, did you have a question for Liz?
What's that?
Molly, did you have a question for Liz?
Oh yeah. So obviously I've been rooting hard for like all the women in the Schmodown so far, just because we need more women in the Schmodown, period. And so I've just really been enjoying watching you compete and just doing so well. And I agree with what you said about like being able to talk to people that are heels, because like everyone who I've played, I'm always like, I'll reach out to them via like Twitter or something, and I'll be like, "Hey, I might say some stuff in my promo, but I'm not trying to be rude or anything." And they're like, "Oh no, it's fine. Like this is all just an act." But so I guess I wanted to know what's your headspace look like leading up to a match? Not really as far as like studying goes, but like, do you feel nervous? Do you feel like excited? Because like I was just a ball of nerves like when I had to play.
I mean, I get nervous for sure. It's more just kind of that. It's kind of that dreading feeling of like, why did I agree to do this? Like,
Yeah.
like why is it something I willingly signed up for? Like, no one pointed a gun to my head. I'm not under any legal obligation. There's a little bit. There are definite benefits, but like, I theoretically could say no at any moment.
Yeah.
And I will actually tell you, I've never mentioned this to anyone, but the day of my match with Bibiani, I was feeling like absolute crap. Well, it was just 100. It was literally 100 degrees in my apartment. Central the cat was panting in a corner. If you look at my face, like if I'm ever occasionally just like looking off camera, it's because I'm looking to see if she's dead. Like I'm exaggerating, but I was just like, I was worried about it. I didn't know. It was very hot in my apartment. I just like, and I was like, there was a part of me. I was like, I should just call this off. Like, I should just like, I should just say I'm not feeling well because I was not feeling well, and just put it off to another day. And I'm sure that there wouldn't have been a problem with that, but I just ended up, mustering up the energy and going for it. But yeah, like, I mean, anyways, that's all to say, like, I definitely get nervous. I definitely get in my head about stuff like that. But then this is something I've said repeatedly, I feel like, is that really, your competitor can be crazy good, but at the very end of the day, it's you and the questions. And it's like, you can't determine the question. You can do your best to put your, most optimum slices on the wheel, but you can't even guarantee that your most optimum slice will give you the questions you want. Like I've won twice now against people who literally chose like their wheel slices that they were like, this is my wheel, this is what I want. Like this is the thing I think is going to, bring me victory. And they lost. And, I've won on categories where I spun a wheel slice, and I was just like, oh well, that's what I'm stuck with. I got to go for it. So yeah, it's always you and the questions, and the questions are whatever PJ and his merry band of writers have come up with, and you got to lean into that. So it's like so like I never honestly feel like I lose against any competitor. Like I definitely competitors win against me. But I always feel like if I lose against somebody, it's because I lost against questions.
That's a great way of looking at it, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, too bad not everybody feels that way.
I'll keep where you get into like, well, clearly the questions are wrong then, and I should fight the fiber of my being.
So I do want to get to a couple of the streamlines that have come through, and we have two of them right now. So I'll get to the first one. This is from Samir. Samir is our resident swag person. He is all about swag, and so I don't think you'll ever meet a bigger swag person than him, outside of the people in the faction, obviously. But he says, "Hi Liz. First off, you're amazing, and secondly, where do you get those wonderful toys, hats?"
Okay. I will tell you this. I will tell the story. So it is a hat. This is a singular hat. This is a hat. I have a hat that's vaguely similar to it, but I've only ever worn this hat for matches. And I wish I could say that this was more than just me saying, well, I guess I need to have some sort of thing going into this competition. I guess I'll wear this hat. But I got this hat. I got this hat for free. As I am a TV critic, journalist, editor type, there was the TNT show The Alienist at a semi-fancy premiere on the Paramount lot a couple years ago, and one of the things you could do at this fancy premiere party was get a hat. So this is my Alienist hat. It is so
nice.
Yes, that I spent no money on this hat, but it is. But honestly, the thing with this hat was I got it and then I put it on, and I was like, I wish I was the kind of person who could really wear a hat and pull off a hat. And the thing that I have learned since this whole thing started is that the way you become a person who can pull off a hat is you wear the hat and you just don't question it. You just keep wearing it, and that gives you the confidence to be a hat person. So I like, at least in the context of the Schmodown, I'm very happy that I have my hat confidence. So thank you very much for that question, Shamir.
I love that.
We have, let's see, one more just came through, so we got two more here. This one's from Malcolm.
Okay.
And he says, did Ethan's endorsement of you when you came into the league make you feel a different kind of pressure? I remember wishing you were just given room to play and grow without hype.
Hey, you and me too. I think the thing is, if you don't come in with a really super strong character, and if you don't come in with a really super strong character, they want to create a narrative around you. And for especially when I very first started, like all they knew about me was this human being exists. She has female parts, and she's good friends with Ethan Irwin, who says she's very good. And so, yeah, I mean, understandably, if you're trying to create a narrative around me as a player, you're going to lean into that last one a lot. So, yeah, I mean, the thing I think I basically just over the course of my Schmodown career, it's just been kind of an up and down thing where it's like, first I'm living up to Ethan's expectations and the expectations set by Ethan and Meredith Berg, his wife, and then like, oh no, I lost, and well, clearly Ethan oversold her, and then oh, she won again. I guess she's living up to Ethan's expectations now. So that's been my journey. But at the same time, like I wouldn't be here without Ethan. Like Ethan. It is legitimately a fact that Ethan said to Christian, Liz is very good. Put her in this thing. And that's how I got in, and it's been a really fun time. So I'm not ever going to resent any of this. Like, it's just been a really funny part of the whole situation, where it's just like I am always being measured up against Ethan as a competitor.
I know what that's like.
Okay, so Billy came through with a Streamlabs. Thank you, Billy. And he says, with each win you put under your belt, can the pressure be too much? Especially when you go up against people like Bibbs. Also, Liz and the POV crew rock. Thank you, Billy.
Thanks, Billy.
You guys are lovely. No, I mean, every win builds up its expectations, especially like when you consider what's coming next, who you're going to be playing, who you could potentially be playing next. Like, at this point, like I could be facing off against Ethan. That'd be fun.
About that after your match, you're like, there's a possibility that you and Ethan can compete, and that would be awesome.
it would certainly be a story. I'm sure. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm like at this, but this is again like for if only for my own sanity's sake. Like this is why I just kind of focus in on it's me and the questions, like. Until you get to like that final round where it's 5 rounds and you've got a whole new set of challenges, it really is just the same game. And you hope yes, of course it's helpful if like the person you're playing against is prone to stumbling, but you're also prone to stumbling. So really you just have to focus on whether or not you're going to get the questions right.
I love the outlook. Brian, did you have something you want to bring up?
I did. So I did my own little research, and I was shocked to find out that you already have tied for second for the most amount of wins by a female competitor. Yeah. So I mean,
Is it with Clark or Rachel? Who'd she tied with?
No, Clark is first with 8 wins, and Stacy and Liz both have
Stacey,
6.
Nice.
So just in singles, I'm guessing.
Yes, just in singles. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
And
huge.
You already have the 17th highest win record in all Schmodown. So my question is, with kind of loosely off Molly's, which women in the Schmodown, what do you think we can do to get more female competitors and just make that so much more than just the men having these records and just bringing more female competitors into the Schmodown?
Oh, that's a really good question. I know that there are some really solid rookies this year. Marisol. I haven't actually watched any of Marisol's matches yet, but from everything I've heard, she's really solid. It's really tough. And I wish, honestly, this is a question I've asked, or I've wanted to ask as a journalist of other female creators, and I mean, it comes down to giving them opportunities. I think I don't want to say it's it's really tough, because I don't want to say that there should be more female leaning categories, because I know that for example, animated films is a regular category in the competition. It's one that I've seen male competitors struggle with. It's one I've struggled with recently. It's they're definitely, it's not like the questions need to change or anything. I think it's just I think it's a recruitment question. I think it's I'm excited for this. Is it a pay-per-view match that they're doing for rom-coms?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The Patreon only. Yeah, the Patreon only. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited we're doing stuff like that. I think and I think the fact that looking to the fan leagues for recruitment is also really good.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, honestly, staggering competitors come out of the fan leagues, just staggering.
Yep.
And we can't underestimate that. It's. I think that I think it really. The thing is, you can ask me that question, but I have very little idea about how people get into this. If you ask me how to get, if you were to ask me, well, how do you become a Schmodown player? My answer would be, well, first off, cast a young woman in your student film in the year 2002, and then later meet her and her husband up and hand off a VHS copy of the movie she's in, and then 20 years later still remain friends with her, and then he'll recommend you to go into the Schmodown. That's literally my journey. I've known Ethan and Meredith for since 2002. So the thing is, I can't, I'm not, as someone who doesn't understand the vagaries of what goes into recruiting new players and bringing in new voices, I can't speak to what we need to do in order to do that. But I would say that the first thing first is, just bring in new players and see what's going on, especially in the fan leagues, because there's, again, crazy talent there.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, I think Christian has done this recently, but it's way overdue. Just making the fan space a little better. Just giving people a safe space to be, and just getting the jerks out of the message boards. There is a block button. Use it if people are being jerks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the internet. You're not going to get rid of all the jerks.
Yeah.
But I am fascinated by the question of it's not even necessarily just bringing in more women, just bringing in new voices in general. What are the best ways to do that? And I think it does kind of the factor of how recruitment, that's the biggest issue. So, I think. Yeah, I'm very. I'd be very happy to be a part of moving that forward. I fully encourage if you're a young woman watching this, or any young person or any older person, frankly. I'm actually trying. I actually have like my goal right now. I'm putting this out there as much as I can, and I will even probably officially email Christian about it at some point. Is I want to play a teams match, an exhibition teams match with my mother. Category Disney.
Yes!
Ooh.
My mother is an OG hardcore Disney nerd. She brought me up right. I feel like us as a teams pair in the category of Disney against any challengers. I
That'd be so
I'm
awesome.
calling it now against Rachel Silvestrini and her mother.
I mean,
Yes.
if Rachel Silvestrini's mother is up for it, I know Rachel would probably be, but I don't want to put that on Rachel. This is a invitational thing, but like, yeah. Anyways,
Oh my gosh. I'm
That'd be
obsessed
so
with that.
awesome.
That is so awesome. I want Christian. I know you watch our show sometimes.
Yeah.
We're putting it in the ether.
I'll make sure to clip it out too. I'll
Yeah.
clip it out and send it directly to him too.
I know that I've been meaning to actually. Sorry, I was adjusting my light.
You're good.
Christian, know that I've been meaning to actually. This isn't like me trying to sneak this in. I just wanted to mention. I have been meaning to email you suggesting, hey, I will. My mom is vaguely game. She is game. I'll probably do it if I just tell her it's happening. Anyways, the point is that like my parents have been watching this and watching my matches, and they've been really enjoying them. And like, I think like this is such a wonderfully done, Billy P.
Billy.
It's a fun game, and the more we can make it inclusive and interesting and embracing, I think it'll be just that much more fun.
Yes.
That'd be fun. That would be a lot of
That'd
fun.
be so cool.
I would love
I
that.
do want to shift gears a little bit because we've had you for about 37 minutes and we have yet to talk about bibs or upcoming matches.
Sure, go for it.
And so obviously we saw what happened this last week. You took on William Bibiani and you ended up walking away with the victory in an incredible match. Just
So good.
just back and forth. It was just perfect. It was so great. And it was also a lot of fun. We talk about it a lot here on the channel that we don't get a lot of those matches. We don't get a lot of those these days with the character work and the factions and stuff like that. How did it feel inside the match itself, playing, and then afterwards knowing that you had just knocked out one William Bibiani?
Well, going into it, like Bibbs is someone I consider a friend. He's one of the very first people I remember I ever really connected with, like even just hanging out backstage before and after tapings. He's been so lovely in so many ways. He's such a good person, a true gentleman of the sport. And as I like to, I really want to sell that idea. A gentleman of the sport, like we are gentlemen of the sport. And he's a wonderful competitor. So I went into it honestly probably more relaxed than I might have been going against someone I didn't like so much, just because it's like, well, if I lose to him, I'm losing to someone that I feel like A, really deserves it, and B, is just a genuinely good human being. Like, and so as a result, like, I think you can see in the match how much fun we're having. We're singing the never-ending story to each other.
That was so great.
And it's just like, I mean, that was the thing. It was just like, I mean, and even though it went like, even when he gets opponent's choice and he gives me like sports movies, I'm like, there's no malice to it. It's just like him being like, that's the smartest play for me. And I totally understood that. And even if I hadn't done as well as I did in that category, I would be very happy. So yeah, I mean, it was inside the match. It was a genuine pleasure. It was, there's definitely always the stress that comes with a match like that. Am I still really mad at myself for blowing that Kung Fu Panda question? The answer is yes. Yes, I am.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. It's okay.
No, but that's the thing. It's the one question you get wrong every time. It's the one you will. I will forget I will. It's like, it doesn't matter that I got like the other like 10 questions right. It's the one question I got wrong.
One.
Especially because I did also know the bonus question. That was annoying.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst.
So, anyways, it's so inside the match, it was really pleasurable, and knowing and afterwards, like, I mean, I think he said in his post game interview, like, the thing that really, the only thing he was bummed about was the fact he didn't get to keep playing this game, and I really empathize with that. Like, that's the only thing I feel bad about, is the fact that this is a really fun game to play, and his season is over, and I just hope he gets to play again soon. Which I guess he will be, because he's in the team's tournament.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. They have a match. They have a match coming up. They have a match coming up in the next 2 weeks. So he's everywhere. He's everywhere. Well, yeah. So shifting gears to upcoming. Obviously, we don't know who you're playing next. It's either going to be Brendan Meyer or Adam Collins, the rookie sensation from Corruption. Just starters, what do you think of both of them? And then someone had also put it in the chat. I think it was Brian. He had said, who would you rather take on out of the two of them?
That's a really interesting question. Of the two of them, I feel like, I'm starting with the who would I rather take on question. I think I would rather take on the kid, if only because I enjoy his gameplay. And also, I've only had very brief interactions with him, but I did watch the OA seasons 1 and 2. And questions that I would hope I would try to slip in, like on a completely unprofessional level. Just be like, do you know what was going to happen in season 3? Did they talk about their plans? What was it like doing season 2? What the hell was that show? That's my answer. But Collins just seems like is a fascinating player. Like he reminds me of Paul Oyama, and just like the fact that he has like such crazy recall, and he just really, really, really knows the source material, and just really is in it. Like you can tell that, and I think he's who I think I was mentioning when I was talking about the fan leagues, where it's like there's. Like the people who are emerging from the fan leagues who really have committed themselves to understanding the game and understanding. I guess the knowledge is if that's how we refer to it. Like they have it and they really devote themselves to it in a really special way.
And we've already seen prime examples with that with Chance and Oyama, both coming out of the fan leagues, which took Chance out. So, but I mean,
but it was not an easy battle, and
exactly it came down to the wire. So these fan leaguers they are intense.
Yes, I would never bet against a fan leaguer at all.
Yeah, but I would love that match with. Now I want Brendan the kid, because I want you to just interrupt that match with just questions. So.
That would be.
I know we're supposed to be questions about Mulan.
So kind of like pseudo distraction. Like I know we're supposed to talk about this, but I have a question to ask you personally.
Did you ever be on set with the octopus? Did you hear the octopus talk? Like, so many VOA questions.
Oh my god!
And it would be back-to-back Shazam members too, which
that's true.
Which would be a big deal. So I know a couple people in the chat, they have questions. I have them written down. We'll get to them in rapid fire towards the end, but we do have a couple Streamlabs that have come through. And so I want to make sure I get to these while we have Liz. And the first one comes from D-Train. And he says, this weekend is a little sad for me because it was supposed to be New York Comic-Con weekend, but for obvious reasons there wasn't. So I asked to each of you, what's your favorite moment while attending a convention?
Well, for me and Alex, I would say fan meetups, and we've only recently done that officially the past couple of years, but that's always really fun, and it's like Schmodown fans or fans of like our YouTube channel, all of it is great.
For me, it was if you don't know, I used to cosplay hardcore. Like I was kind of known in my community. I was one of those like OG cosplayers. I was one of the first people to do Spider-Gwen, like one of those cosplayers. But my favorite convention memory was my first ever convention, and the only reason why I went was because Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead was there. And I am like obsessed with The Walking Dead and was obsessed with Norman Reedus. And it was the first time I cosplayed because I said, I want him to remember me. So I made a Daryl Dixon costume. I was all bloodied up. I had dead squirrels on my hip. I had a crossbow. And so I walked up to him and he said, and I quote, "Holy shit, you are the cutest thing I have ever seen. Can I take your picture?" And I almost collapsed on the floor. And that is my favorite moment. And I've met him multiple times afterward. He is a freaking sweetheart. So that was my first convention moment and my favorite convention moment.
Very good.
Good one.
Thank you.
Mine's very quick. I've only ever been to one convention. Brian and I went to Comic-Con 2 years ago, Brian?
Your first convention
it was last year.
Was it? No, it was not last year.
It was last year.
Okay, well, all right. Well, that was an incredible experience. Just San Diego in general, going there, checking that out. It was really fun because it was a cool little group of us. But yeah, I've only ever been to one convention, so that's just mine.
It's an insane first convention. That is
Yeah.
Well,
I was supposed to go to one about 2 weeks ago, but
things happen.
Yeah,
or a month ago now. I don't know.
For me, that was Jake and I went to Comic-Con last year. That was both of our first conventions, and just actually getting to go, something you've always wanted to do your whole entire life. And then it's finally there, and it's finally going to happen, and you walk in and it's better than anything you could have ever expected. Like, that was the best part. And just getting to go with like my sister and her best friend and Jake, and like just that was just, yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Liz, do you have one?
I've been to a fair number of conventions, especially because I occasionally have to cover them for work. I will say the first one that comes to mind. This would be 2009. I had agreed for the publication I was working for at the time to cover the Twilight New Moon panel in Hall H at Comic-Con. And the whole reason was I was like, I'll spend the whole day waiting in line outside to get into the convention hall so that I can watch. I'll write up the New Moon panel and then stick around until afterwards. And then because immediately afterwards they had the first panel for Avatar scheduled.
Oh.
It was like the first time they were going to show any footage from Avatar. They like literally passed out 3D glasses when we walked into the room.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing that happened during the Twilight New Moon panel, aside from a lot of screaming over every like, because they showed two different clips, one of which had Edward shirtless, one of them had Jacob shirtless.
Of course.
Of course.
They know they're on. But one of the fan questions was, what scene are you most looking forward to filming from the future books? And this is when the degree to which Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart's feelings towards Twilight became really clear.
Yes.
Because they both said the scene they were looking forward to filming most was the scene where Bella gives birth to their daughter.
Oh, God.
If you remember from the books, and I've never actually seen the film, but it involves Edward ripping out the baby.
Yeah.
Literally. Ripping it out. Yeah.
It's a gnarly book.
It's a gnarly, gruesome, horrific scene, and the fact that they go for like, we cannot wait to film that garbage. You guys are amazing. This is why you go to Comic-Con, for the info.
I remember being in the theater for that scene and like literally covering my mouth like, oh.
So they really go there with it. I've never seen it. Like,
it's not that gory. It's still a PG-13 film, so it's only as gory as they can be with like a PG-13 film. But like,
it's way more gory in the book than the.
Yeah.
But like her back breaks and like there's blood and she's like dying and it's Twilight.
Yeah, right, Jake? You loved all that part.
Hey, I just did my biannual Twilight rewatch, and
I just rewatched them all too.
I
won't-
I
don't know
gotta
if I'll
do
let-
it. I don't know why.
I don't know if I'll ever rewatch any of those. Anyway, a couple more Streamlabs here before we get to our rapid fire ending here. Billy again with the donation. Thanks, Billy. With each win you put under your belt, can the pressure be too much, especially when you go up against people like Bibbs? Also, Liz and the POV crew rock.
You said that one already.
I did.
Yes.
I think so. I mean,
Pretty well.
I can answer again. That's you versus the questions.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
you rock.
Okay, my bad. I guess I did answer that one. Okay, well, we have one more anyway to go over that one. This one's from Kylie. I think the POV approach is amazing, especially the Discord. It's a non-toxic and accepting, fun place. What are your feelings on going to a live show in the future? Because you will probably be highly requested to see you compete.
Mm-hmm. I want to see.
yes.
I want to see Liz Shannon Miller in a live event.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about me being in a live event?
Yeah.
You guys.
No, we want
not
you in a
us.
live event.
No, I mean, I would do a live event, sure. I mean, it's I did one live. I think I did the spectacular last year, and the only real difference was I swore on the live stream, and I felt really bad about it. But beyond that, no. I mean, I'm not worried at all about doing a live event. Like, I think it would definitely be a different situation. But I've done live stuff before, and it's just, again, you just gotta. It really just. I feel like I keep repeating this, but it's just like it's my only way about getting around the nerves is just it's you and the questions, and like you could play. Even if I was facing Dan Neural, I'd be like it's me and the questions. Dan is a lovely person, so I'd actually enjoy playing him just because it'd be a pleasure to spend time in his company.
Oh,
Awesome.
I want Liz at a live event so I can scream for Liz Shannon Miller.
No, please. Yes. Please encourage that because
we will all wear hats. We will all be in a row. We will be screaming.
If I can get people to wear, if I look at an audience, there are multiple people wearing hats like mine, I probably would start crying. Like it'd be,
We'll keep that in mind when that happens. We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right, one more Streamlabs here before we get to the rapid fires, and it's just from D Train. Hey guys, I hope you all had a great weekend. Hey Liz, just wanted to say you're one of my favorite new players. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's time for the first female singles champion.
Ooh.
oh boy.
Here for it.
Me versus the questions and no, that's really nice of you. I feel like even if it's it would be lovely, but at the same time, like even if it doesn't happen for me this year, it's something to work for, and that's the most exciting thing. And like I think honestly, one of the things I also really like about the Schmodown is that there are lots of different ways to get a belt. There's
that's true.
I could
That's true.
I could rack up a real collection by the time. I'm not.
Love it.
Even if the things don't work out for me in terms of singles this time, there's next year. There's next year. There's a whole bunch of different opportunities. I
want Liz Shannon Miller in teams, please.
Love it.
I had a great time in teams this spring. I would love to do it again. But in the meantime, everyone root for a final exam because they're going to kill it.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and get to our rapid fire questions here. We're just gonna simply throw some things out there, and then you can answer as quick as you possibly can. Hopefully, they're easy for you. And we do this with most of our guests, and so the first one is favorite guilty pleasure movie, if you have one.
Oh God, I'm just gonna go with the one I rewatched most recently, and it's Sickness, and I don't know why it is, but the 2002 Jennifer Lopez thriller Enough. I just really like that she gets really mad at Billy Campbell, and she says enough, and then she kills him. Sorry. Enough, but it's like a higher level Lifetime movie, and it's just so cheesy and so good and so lovely.
Nice.
And by the way, I know I've been talking a lot, so
You're good. No, you're
That's
good.
the
You're
point.
good. Yeah. We'll wrap around. So Molly, if you want to go ahead and go next to the next one.
Yes.
Yeah. Favorite movie props such as a lightsaber, superhero equipment, etc.
Oh wow. Well, now that you mention, I mean,
It's such a hard question.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. What's the thing like I would like to own? I guess.
Oh, that's a
Pretty
good way
much, yeah.
I was just listening to the Blank Check podcast talk about Back to the Future, and the DeLorean would be fun.
Love it. That's a great one.
Just park that puppy in the garage. All right, favorite film genre?
I was raised on sci-fi. It's always going to probably be sci-fi. Like that, it's my safe space. It's my happy place. But I love a good dystopian. I feel like sci-fi, it can go to dystopian realms. It can go into fantasy. Like it's so all encompassing in so many ways. Like I love a good not too distant future set movie. Like I love a vaguely like 15 years in the future type deal.
Fair. Favorite movie series?
Damn it. J.J. Abrams made it really hard to say Star Wars now. Gosh. That's harder now than it used to be. No, I mean,
You can give a couple if you want.
Yeah, if you want to give
If you're trying to choose between,
it's like Lord of the Rings is. I have literally. I'm getting ready for a big Lord of the Rings rewatch, and I'm looking forward to that a lot. I'm just gonna say Star Trek. The Star Trek. It was like
there we go.
I mean, you're literally looking at 15 films in total.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel
That's very true.
on balance, if you sent me away to a desert island and you sent me away with one box set, that's the box set I would probably be most entertained by on a long-term basis.
That's fair.
I will butt in with a comment here because we talked about it. Favorite Disney movie?
I don't feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame gets its due.
Oh my
Great
God,
movie.
yes.
I've
movie.
never seen it.
Brian, so many times.
That's when we're talking animated, but
Yeah.
They got away with that movie is ridiculous. There's an entire song about how the gypsy woman makes the priest too horny, and that's why
Literally, Hellfire is literally how he wants to bone Esmeralda.
That is a Disney movie that was released by that studio.
Wow.
But yeah, I've been meaning to rewatch The Great Mouse Detective, and that's probably something I'm going to do very soon, the next day or two. And I'm really excited because I remember loving that movie.
That was the first movie I saw in theaters with my uncle. They brought it back to theaters, and it was The Great Mouse Detective. So that holds a special place in my heart. All right.
Molly's.
Let's see. Favorite movie character? Not that it's easy, but
No, gosh, I feel like I was like, oh wait, I do have an answer for this, but I don't really. It's a cop out. It's such a goddamn cop out. But I'm just gonna say I've been digging in hard with Sherlock Holmes movies lately, and Sherlock Holmes is it's like I've been literally I have a article I'm working on where I'm ranking all the Sherlocks across and it's incredibly hard. It's taken me forever, but definitely Sherlock. There's so many permutations to the character, so many different ways you can go. It's fascinating.
So are you thumbs up or thumbs down on Enola Holmes?
I liked it a lot. I thought do I think I think I've seen Henry Cavill's not making the number one spot on my list, but he's in the middle. He did a solid job, and it was very charming. Honestly, the thing with Enola Holmes is that that movie is That movie is something like 11-year-old me would have worshipped obsessively. Like, young teen girl Sherlock Holmes was like my perfect character growing up. So like, I'm just annoyed it's taken this long for it to actually happen.
It's very Harriet the Spy. I feel like
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna watch it.
It's super
soon.
charming. It's fun. Helena Bonham Carter's really good in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
she
She
is.
does everything
She
good.
is.
Yeah.
It's true.
Next up is favorite director.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Mary Herron, just because like American Psycho is such a life-changing film for me. But you know, there are lots of good directors. I really like I would say I want to name people that maybe people haven't seen or heard or paid a lot of attention to. But if you've never seen the film Shattered Glass, which is, I would argue, a perfect film. It's written and directed by Billy Ray. It has a great cast. It's Hayden Christensen proving he knows how to actually act. And Peter Sarsgaard and Chloe Sevigny and Melanie Linsky and a lot of great people. But it's about Stephen Glass, the journalist who was basically revealed to be a complete and utter fraud. And it's such an interesting character portrait. And it borrows so much from from All the President's Men, which is a great film. And you're going to go all timers, you got to go All the President's Men, stuff like that. Anyways, but yeah, those are the films. Mary Herron's American Psycho is a perfect film. Shattered Glass by Billy Ray is a perfect film. I feel like I could do a lot better in terms of coming up with actual directors, but those are two people who, sometimes you just gotta really recognize when a director shoots their perfect shot, even if before and after they didn't necessarily live up to it. They got that one out. They made one perfect movie, which is one more perfect movie than a lot of the rest of us are ever gonna make.
And then, last but certainly not least, your all-time favorite movie.
We had to ask.
We have to.
No, of course. So, I remember when I created my Facebook profile 1.5 million years ago. I have the favorite movie cat thing, and so I put down at the time All About Eve, Amelie, Star Wars, and The Matrix. And I feel like the combination of those four is a kind of nice encapsulation of where I fall.
I like it.
If I had to pick one of those four, because it really my opinions of those four films have not really changed. Those are still four really important movies to me. I would probably just go with The Matrix.
Nice.
I feel like in the long run, that movie encapsulates a lot of what I care about. And also, Wachowskis fall into the category of favorite filmmakers. Even when they're doing something incomprehensible, like Cloud Atlas, they're still working on a different plane than anyone else.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to throw in, just since it's Halloween, what's your favorite candy?
Well, that's a POV special, too. So.
It is a POV special. It's your favorite candy.
I'm a peanut butter and chocolate girl, so any combination thereof.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been trying to figure out a way to actually just take raw peanut butter from the jar and combine it with M&Ms. And then you can go to the store and you can buy peanut butter and M&Ms. But I'm trying to figure out a way to do a DIY version.
There you go.
Just get a spoonful of peanut butter, sprinkle some M&Ms on it, and just eat it.
The peanut butter needs to be sticky, which is a problem. I swear. I've into this. But as soon as I figure that out, I'll be golden. But yeah, peanut butter and chocolate, I think you can't really go wrong with.
I wonder if you could put peanut butter in an ice cube tray with M&Ms in it and freeze it.
100%.
There we go.
Yeah.
Talking about the real questions now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's does a thing now where they just sell you can buy a packet of the pellets that they put into the ice cream. So you could just buy like the peanut butter chocolate chip, like ice cream pellets without the ice cream. So I maybe have a package of them in my freezer right now. I'm savoring and working my way through it.
Nice.
Well, Liz, we want to send just a big, huge thank you for joining us tonight for the last hour.
So much fun.
And, you know, it was great to get to know you better on a POV level and just get to talk Schmodown and a bunch of random things with you. And so we really, really appreciate you stopping by and hanging out for a little while.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I apologize. It's like, I know that you guys, what time is it? Oh, yeah, we've been talking.
No, you're good. You're good. No,
It's under 30 to 45 for you, so you can get out of here.
I just didn't want to be like, oh God, is she ever going to leave?
No. Yes.
No, it's been such a pleasure. You guys are lovely, and I can't wait to in an hour remember exactly who I should have said is my favorite director.
Well, before we do let you go, why don't you let everybody who's watching where they can find you online, whether it's Collider or Twitter or anything like that.
Well, you can find me on Collider for sure. They have had the very very great kindness of keeping me employed for the last several months. So I'm I'm senior TV editor there, writing about television. And again, for any Schmodown competitors, I cannot recommend highly enough using television as a cross-training platform. Brush up on your TV. It comes in handy. You might remember, for example, who played Peter Vincent in 2011's Fright Night. So anyways, so I'm at Collider. You can find me on Twitter at Lizlet. That's Lizlet. I tweet about a number of random things there. And I do have a website. It's LizShannonMiller.com, which is mostly just a compilation of links to where you can find me elsewhere. Otherwise, I'm on my couch with Tink Girl somewhere.
Yay.
I'm glad you made an appearance at the beginning.
We are too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, again, thank you so much for hanging out, and good luck on everything Schmodown in the next couple of weeks. We're excited to watch it.
Thank you. Good luck with this show. This is a really fun one. So
thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night, Liz.
Bye. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I love her.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
So fun.
You had such great answers for some of the questions.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. She had such great insight on stuff from her, like a total different perspective of the other competitors.
Oh, 100%. Like that, working at a movie store, I never would have thought, and it's 100% a prime way to learn.
I wanted to work at Blockbuster so bad. Like I wanted that to be my first job, but then they just started petering out by the time I was getting to the age to work. So I settled with Best Buy. I worked there for a while.
Nothing wrong with Best Buy. Nothing wrong. They take all my money.
Yeah, you're lucky you don't live near him and work.
They take all my money.
You would have gotten weekly. Can I get a discount? Probably.
It's bad. It sucks. It just. Anyway, we do have one Streamlabs that did come through, and this is definitely a POV question. So Malcolm, thanks again for the donation. After Moana / Vaiana, I don't know if that's what it's called. I'm continuing my Disney tour with Inside Out. I was surprised when Jill said she dislikes this one because I always hear great things. How do you guys feel about the movie and why?
Sorry, Ben Bateman literally was personally offended when I said that I did not like Inside Out.
So I will say this: I've seen the movie once. I had a very bad experience with the movie because with all animated movies, when you go opening weekend, there's a lot of screaming kids in the theater, and this one was the worst out of all of them. And so I have yet to revisit the movie, and maybe I will here in the near future. Who knows?
The first time I saw it, I was so bored I fell asleep, and I fell asleep through the whole Bing Bong part. And everyone was like,
"Don't spoil it for him. Don't spoil it for Malcolm."
And I'm like, "Who?" And that's a spoiler. It's just a character. And so I fell asleep during it, and then I think I went to the theater again, and I love the concept. I love the story behind it, but the execution to me was just so boring. Other people say it's the greatest Pixar movie of all time, but I'm like, Is it though? Is it?
I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was like bad or good, like on the extent of the either tipping either scale. It was just kind of like, yeah, it's good, and it had its like really heartfelt moments that may or may not have made me cry in the theater, but it's a Pixar movie.
So Malcolm stepped in. That's the European distinction.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I rolled with.
I will say, I watched Moana for the first time, I think earlier this year. Freaking loved it. Brilliant. So good.
Moana's like my top 10.
He literally, I remember hearing like, how did I not watch this sooner? And then of course the gratuitous like week and a half of singing the songs.
100%. 100%. Yeah, of course. I don't know. I mean, it's hard with Disney movies. I mean, there's so many good ones, but as far as Inside Out, I'll have to do a rewatch because I had the one bad experience, and I know the majority of people like love this movie.
I will say I definitely liked it better the second time I watched it, but it's still like my bottom 5 Pixar films.
Is that You're Welcome song from Moana?
Yes.
Have you guys heard the Star Wars version of that song?
No, there's a Star Wars version.
Yep.
Oh,
I'll send you. I'll put the link in the Discord because there's a video that somebody animated for it, and it's like Luke singing to Rey, like custom lyrics and everything. And even funnier than that, I wish I had a video of it. Alex knows it word for word and has sang it multiple times at karaoke.
Nice.
Yes.
So
we need.
That's amazing. All right, so D Train sent it in the Streamlabs. This one is
always forgetting me, in my opinion.
Well, you didn't step in and say anything. That's your fault.
Yeah, because you cut me off. No, I'm kidding.
Speak faster.
Inside Out. I like it. It's just rough. It's like Up, where it's like
it's emotional.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it is about emotions, Brian.
No, I know, but I mean, like, it's not a like you're not gonna walk out of it like cheery, happy, like singing the song. That. It's a bit rougher than your happy-go-lucky Disney movie. So I think it's
one of those Pixar movies that is both for kids and adults because it gut punches you in moments.
Yeah,
it'll definitely hit you hard sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
The message was great. I 100% love the message behind, like, no spoilers, the message is great, but just the execution was not for me personally.
I just like anger. Short.
Yeah,
it's
the greatest GIF of all time. That GIF is amazing.
Oh, and is it Fear?
Fear's
the blue one?
Bill Hader, right? That's who you're talking about.
He's constantly nervous. That's like
yeah. So D Train stepped in here, and this is what we've all been doing this weekend. But thoughts on Squadrons? It's okay, but hopefully it gets better. But I probably won't have much fun with this as so did with Fallen Order and Battlefront 2. Interesting. It's brilliant. I can't get enough of it. I'll play it all the time. There's my answer.
Squadrons is. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say Squadrons is. It's a love letter to like old flying Star Wars games. So if you liked those, if you like any flying games, you'll probably love it. Fallen Order is a much different game. It's very much more story based. There is a story mode and it's pretty good, but this is mostly going to be for people who want to squad up and do multiplayer.
Squad.
I wouldn't know. I haven't had a chance to play it.
That's because Sean's hogging everything.
Someone has been playing it nonstop since he downloaded it. So,
and guess what he's about to do in 15 minutes?
In about 15 minutes, he's about to start streaming. So maybe on this stream, maybe when he's streaming or not streaming, he'll teach me how to play. But I mean, it looks fun. Like clearly, he's having a good time with it. So I'll for Sean's input, it's great. He's having a lot of fun with it. I can't give my opinion because I haven't played it yet. But from what I've seen of other people playing it, they're having a grand old time. So it's fun.
It's fun. It's just a little bit. It's difficult to get like.
That's what I hear.
It's a hard game.
It is a very hard game.
Yeah,
there are a lot of buttons. A lot of buttons, And my biggest problem, I already told Jake, is I just find myself spinning constantly. It's like I'll realize at the end of a match that I just played the whole entire game upside down. So like that's literally where I'm at with this. So
I'll just stick with my Super Mario 64 for now.
Yeah,
that's fair, D-Train, because a lot of the good Star Wars games are very much this.
True.
So it's kind of just like probably just
I get my lightsaber on Friday.
There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into let's get into the two matches that are happening this week before we get out of here. And the first one, I'll make sure that this is the Thursday one. I want to make sure that it's Brendan Meyer and Adam Collins. Let's see. Yep. So Brendan Meyer and Adam Collins. We have the Quirky Mercs and Corruption. The final member for Corruption, and now the final member for Quirky Mercs, I believe. And so one of these factions will be leaving at the end of this match. We can give predictions. It's hard because the match is still a couple of days away. But Jill, I'll start with you on thoughts on the Kid versus the Coyote.
This one's hard for me because I am in love with Brendan Meyer. He is precious, and I want him in my pocket. And I think he's great.
He's the POV version of the child.
Literally,
must be protected.
He must be protected. But I have said this multiple times. I still don't know Colin's weaknesses.
If he has any.
Who does?
We have seen Brendan have rough games. We have seen Brendan have amazing games. So I think it's all going to depend on which Brendan Meyer is going to be in that match that day.
And how much caffeine he had.
And how much caffeine he has, and how his breathing is, and where his mind is in that match. So I think it's going to come down to that. I'm giving the slight edge to Collins just because I don't know what his weakness is, and that scares me. So I will give the slight edge to Collins.
This just got aggressive real quick.
All right, Kylie.
Got aggressive real quick.
But so I will give the slight edge to Collins, but would not at all be shocked if Brendan takes this one.
Quirky Merc for life.
Whoever wins, I'm not mad about it.
Go Brendan and Quirky Merc for life. He's taking down the Coyote. Anybody else?
I think, I don't know. This one, literally, I don't know. But I think I might, which it blows my mind that I'm giving the rookie a slight edge to someone over the Kid. Like, the Kid's been around for a couple years and has a reputation, and he's very good. The fact that I'm giving an edge to someone that's played 2 matches, 3 matches. It's insane. So right now I'm leaning towards Collins, but who knows? But the day of, I might teeter towards Quirky Mercs and the Kid. I just don't know.
Molly?
I was just looking at that comment, and that's kind of how I was thinking. Brendan Meyer has a lot of energy. He's the Kid. I mean, I don't think that him getting nervous necessarily makes him miss questions, but that's the only thing I can think of that really could be a downside for him in this match. I mean, yeah, Collins is just like super calm, collected, and just spits out answers like a machine. So if I want to stick with Brendan on this one to win because he's a more seasoned player, but honestly that means nothing as far as what the outcome of these games are going to be. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how it goes.
And also
it's a
big
doesn't
want to come after her anymore.
That's true too. I will never root against a Quirky Merc.
Unless it was Liz Shannon Miller last week.
Okay, so the next match is the final one. Next is this Friday, which is Ethan Irwin for the Usual Suspects and the Den. Again, a match where a faction ends up leaving. The final members for the faction. Obviously, Ethan. Oh God, I think Ethan is the only remaining number 1 seed left in the tournament. I just realized that. All the rest of them, Bibbs, Roca, and Paul, all got knocked out. So he is the only one left. That I don't know why that just clicked in my head, but it did.
Oh.
And he's going up against a 2 seed in Tom, who was a number 1 overall pick, which is out of all the 4 semis, this is the biggest match we have. And Molly, I'll go right back to you on this one. Thoughts on Ethan Irwin and Tom?
I mean, Ethan is the last of the usual suspects in the singles tournament, so I'm rooting for him. But I love Tam. I can't not say his name like that. But yeah, it's gonna be a really fun match to watch because Tom's character is just amazing. But Ethan's been killing it, and I see him continuing to kill it. And I also would love to see an Ethan Irwin versus Liz Shannon Miller final match.
Ooh, early prediction. Jill?
You know who I'm rooting for. I don't want my pseudo faction to be out of here. We got time. Tam is taking it.
It's TAM.
It's Tam. Going to draw. But
that's a rough reference right there. That's oof.
Yeah, Tom is taking it. Tom, we're gonna. I hope his bear got delivered. So now he has the bear. So we'll see if that happens. I hope he is alive and healthy in his closet or wherever he may be at this point in time. But he will be ready, and he's gonna take this one. And the Den will continue on in this tournament.
We'll see about that. Brian?
Okay, listen. I will fight you.
I'm more torn on this one because I want to see both of them play Snyder. I want to see Tom.
Would be so interesting.
I know. And that's what is getting me because I just want to see the antics of Tom and how Snyder puts up and deals with that.
Yeah.
But I also would think that a Snyder versus Irwin match is entertaining as well. That is going to be a very good match. So I'm not 100%. I'm literally maybe 51-49 leaning towards Ethan. But I don't know. I just really want to see what Snyder does with having to go against Tom. That's literally just, I feel like it's just going to be an absolute mess of a show, and I'm all here for it.
Prime description. That would probably be a mess.
Yeah, as far as entertainment, I definitely want to see Tom continue on. He is the entertainment piece in this tournament that's left standing. There's no one like him for the rest of the year, period.
There's
but I just think that
let's be honest.
True. I kind of see and I'm not making an early prediction, but I kind of see Ethan as almost on a revenge tour, getting back to a rematch with Dan at the end of the year after losing to him earlier. And it, story-wise, it'd work out and just overall. But I feel like these are almost to him like warm-up matches, and not to say that that it's easy, but I think he looks at it as okay, these matches are in my way. I'm looking to reach Dan. What do I need to do to get by? Plus, he's just ridiculously knowledgeable about films that shouldn't be knowledgeable about, but he is. But I will say Tom has been slow. He's been getting better with each match, which is is very scary because he didn't play a lot in the beginning of the year. He's playing a lot now, and if he gets the right stuff, he could really catch Ethan off guard, and he could end up walking away with a W, and it could be a good surprise for the Den. That's for sure.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, the categories he puts up in the wheel round too,
that wheel is going to be so interesting between the two of them. If it is Ethan and Tom, it's going to be so interesting. Yeah,
that's going to be a very weird and opposite wheel.
Our play along is probably going to suck that day.
We're gonna terrible.
Fine with me.
I feel like from here on out, we're just gonna be what did we get all together? Let's just look at the total.
Yeah. Seriously. With everybody left?
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Should be fun though.
It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna hope there's some animation questions in there because that's gonna be my only hope of getting anything.
All right. Well, I think that's a good spot to wrap up tonight's POV. Streamlabs are shut down for the night, and we got no more real questions going on. So with all of our thoughts on the upcoming matches this week, which you will see reactions and play-alongs to on Thursday and Friday, and then obviously a huge thank you to Liz Shannon Miller for hanging out with us. That was awesome. Such a great guest and insight on what she brings to the table as a competitor. Very, very different from a lot of people we have on the show and just in general in the league, which is really cool. So before we get out of here, let's go ahead and just go around the table real quick. Brian, where can everybody find you online, man?
Be Evolcino on Twitter and Instagram.
Jill?
Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's, Twitter, Instagram. You can maybe see me walking behind Sean's Twitch streams. I believe it's starting in 2 minutes. Twitch.tv/Sean Sully. I'm going to make dinner, and he better eat it. Sean.
Molly?
At Molly Damon on Twitter and YouTube and all the things. Twitch.
Everything. Just everything.
Yeah. I always forget to plug my Instagram because it's the only different one. It's Molly Mander because someone has Molly Damon, and it's
how dare
really annoying. And then Star Wars Explained on
sounds
YouTube.
Familiar.
Yeah.
I'm about to say it, Brian. So
I know, that's why I looked up.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake, 2 N's because someone took it before I did.
Dare.
You're welcome, Brian.
How dare.
POVs on Twitter, also at Schmodown POV. Make sure you guys are following us there, not just for links to all our shows and everything, but interactions with players and managers, stuff like that. Also, you guys as well. And then you can find Brian and I on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Pocketflix Movies. You can check that out. Also, guys, if you're interested, hit that Patreon link. We did a watch along yesterday.
It was so fun.
Molly, Jill, and Brian did. They did a watch along to the Road to El Dorado, which is available for patrons to watch if you missed it. You will not get access to it if you're not. $2 a month gets you a watch along. $2 a month gets you a watch along. And I'll tell you this. Pretty sure we decided on what movie we're doing, and my goodness, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I said we were going to
October.
have a poll, but I don't think we're going to have a poll.
I don't think we're going to have a poll. I think we decided on what movie we're doing. So,
bye, Brian.
Oh goodness.
I'm out of it. I'm out.
Oh no!
But, wait, Brian, you've never seen that, have you?
I haven't either.
No, of course I've never seen it.
Oh,
Yes.
it's so
For such a
good.
treat. Yes.
Of course I've never seen it. What do you
Okay.
expect?
So
So,
for you patrons,
join our Patreon.
yeah, that'll actually be coming up very soon. That'll be coming up very soon, so check that out. And then you can find all of our links and everything in the description below. So again, thank you to everyone for hanging out with us for the past hour and a half. We appreciate it. Thank you to Liz Shannon Miller also. And so for POV on this Sunday, we will see you guys on Thursday.